funny. Did you ever see Whitey Bulger?
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Cool.
Right? Is he on there? At least pretend to be
John, I'm very uncomfortable. Okay, I've been living with this for years, remembering my own conversation. I don't give a shit if they see it's my fucking kitchen. You have to be like a woman, you know? Socializing with these guys is gonna be like a regular social. What are you really fucking being these days?
Maintaining my relationship with my that relationship is the time to make you do which I really is fancy housing.
Should I? 9:35 de la noche de hoy, 1 de enero, frente a Bayside. No sabemos ahora.
Yeah, guys, this happened right in front of me. CD Lamb was celebrating John that video, getting behind his defender. He was and the official things up as we look at CD Lamb on the side. Yeah, guys.
Babies, they are called twins. When a woman is pregnant with 3 babies, they are called blank. Triceps. What do you call a person who does not eat meat? Valedictorian. What do you call a person who is attracted to both males and females?
Bicycle.
It's beginning to look a lot like.
And a happy new year.
Describe yourself.
I'm a very matured person and I apologize when I'm wrong. I've never seen you apologize. I'm never wrong.
What is the plural?
I thought it was a family secret. You should arrest him. No.
$174K a year, but somehow has a net worth of $413. Absolutely, and that's a great segue into a politician that really doesn't care, and that's Nancy Pelosi. So she makes $174K a year, but somehow has a net worth of $413 million. So her stock portfolio somehow returned at a whopping 78%. Let's take a look.
As the president said in the Roosevelt Room yesterday, conceptually, he of course supports the idea of ensuring that members of Congress and United States senators who are here for public service cannot enrich themselves. And the reason that this idea to put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
All right, so a few things. One, I want to know who her wealth advisor is, Alex. I don't know if you're in need of one, but I could use one that's going to make me that much money. But how much money does somebody have to make in such an obscure way, blatantly in front of everybody's faces, knowing we know her salary before they get investigated, before they have to face an audit? What is your take on this?
Well, I mean, it's ridiculous because all of these politicians get to sit in closed-door meetings with government contract companies that they know are going to get a huge influx of government money, and they can go invest in these companies like Halliburton, Raytheon. I mean, there's companies that make the light poles, the red lights, the traffic lights. They know when these corporations are going to get huge government contracts, so it's not hard to tell, Nancy Pelosi's husband to go invest in this, and that's what happened recently. I believe it or not, CNN actually pressed Nancy Pelosi about this. It's a viral clip, and she said, "Oh, I don't know. That's basically all my husband. He is in charge of all that." So it's obviously a lie. She knows exactly what she's doing. She has inside information that makes her a better stock trader than all the hedge funds, on Wall Street. That's not an accident. That is what I call an inside job. So we need to stop these politicians from going into office just for self-wealth, just to, self-preservation, just to make themselves better and not make our country better. So I think they should have to stop trading stocks or put a limit to it. It's ridiculous that somebody like Nancy Pelosi is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, yet she's been a career politician making under $200,000 a year. It doesn't make sense.
Wow. Okay.
Let's see what you got.
Leech, how will you? All I care about is this big brown ass right in front of me. Leech, how will you, dick man? That's your dick butt fucking there, man. All I care about is this big brown ass right in front of me.
Socialism will sweep over this nation, I fear, and I think it's a cancer. And it's going to be worse than what we saw with woke stuff. It's going to be just like I'm losing out on everything. I mean, people are stagnant in wage growth. There is no one in the United States, including wealthy people, who haven't taken significant notice of the increased cost of groceries and the increased cost of buying home goods. Jason, I'm assuming you must have noticed as well how much groceries have gone up in price. Everyone's rent goes up every year. There was this TikTok rant that went viral this week about this woman that's like, why does my rent go up every year? My salary doesn't go up. We're in this really difficult moment because of what Ben pointed out, which is that we've basically funded the government to do everything for us. And by my calculation from last year, I think nearly half of Americans are employed directly or indirectly by the government at this point. And as a result, because of that and the inefficiency of government allocation of capital, everything inflates in cost. And we're entering this era where some people make the joke that the train has left the station.
Interesting concept. Crooked Nancy and her very interesting husband beat ever hedge fund in 2024. And in other words, these two very average minds beat all of the super geniuses in Wall Street, thousands of them. Someone's information. Is anybody looking into this? He is disgusting. Degenerate who impeached me twice on no grounds and lost. How are you feeling now, Nancy? Good question.
That means I was raised in the gap between the analog world and the digital one, between rotary phones and smartphones, between go to college, get a job, and retire at 65 and whatever this is now. We were promised a world that no longer exists. As millennials, we're given a blueprint that leads nowhere. And now, we're parents, trying to raise children, trying to raise the next generation in the ruins of that lie. And I'll be real with you, being a parent is one of the hardest things that I've ever done. Not because of the diapers, not because of sleep deprivation, not even because of the cost, even though it is expensive and things are overpriced. But it's hard because I don't know what the hell kind of world I'm raising my children for. How do you prepare someone for a future that does not exist yet? See, I was told, go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a good job, work hard, buy a house, and then retire. But now that whole system is crumbling in real time.
The
College
Chargers lost.
has $80,000 worth of debt with no job on the other side. Jobs, those are vanishing overnight thanks to AI and automation. And buy a house in this market where our starter home costs more than our parents' dream home ever did. And retirement, that's crazy talk. Most people can't even take off the weekend without falling behind. So what do I tell these children when they ask, what should I be when I grow up? Because deep down, I don't know. I don't know what the economy will look like in 10 years. I don't know what jobs will exist, or if the concept of jobs will even still exist at all. Will it even still be a thing? And I damn sure don't know if there will be any stability left to hand them. We were taught that the world works as a machine, that if you do your part, if you play by the rules, then it'll all work out. But what do you do when the machine is broken? What do you do when the rules change every year? When corporations are replacing humans with code? When a robot can apply for your job, work 24/7, never complain, and doesn't need health insurance? And through all that, we're just expected to be calm and stable and secure for our kids. We're expected to give them guidance, direction, hope, when most days we're just trying to survive ourselves. We are literally watching the planet warm up. The rent is rising. The food shelves are shrinking. The jobs are vanishing. The schools are decaying. The mental health crisis is exploding. And no one in charge seems to care. And yet, we wake up every day and try to do our best, trying to raise kind, strong, intelligent, conscious little human beings in a world that feels like it's falling apart. That's more than parenting. That is resistance. And if you are a millennial parent like me, I just want to say this. You are not crazy. You are not paranoid. You are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You're just living through the collapse of an old world and trying to give birth to a new one at the same time. And that is definitely not failure. And even though it is hard, there is something we can do. We can stop trying to raise our kids to survive in a system that was never meant for us in the first place. Instead, we could raise them to survive without it, to think beyond it. We teach them how to grow food, how to build, how to repair, how to question everything, how to love themselves, and how to stay rooted in a world that is trying to monetize and digitize every part of them. We can raise them to be sovereign and know that their value does not come from a job title. They don't need to earn their worth through productivity, that they are more than what this system allows them to be. Because the truth is, we may not be able to hand them a stable future, but we can hand them tools for healing, tools for creating, tools for rebuilding. Because whether we like it or not, the system is going down. This American empire is rotting from the inside out. And AI is not just changing the job market, it is revealing how unnecessary some of these jobs were in the first place. And capitalism is not innovating. It's cannibalizing itself just to stay alive. So no, I'm not raising my child to be a good worker in a broken machine that exploits them. I'm raising them to be a builder, a creator, a critical thinker, a healer, a freedom fighter, a problem solver, a truth seeker. Because I think that the world they're going to inherit won't need employees. It will need visionaries. It will need people who remember what it means to be a human. People who can navigate through chaos without losing their soul. People who can build new systems based on love, based on cooperation, based on community, and not greed and control. So yeah, I'm a millennial. I grew up in the lie, but I'm not passing that lie down to my kids. I'm breaking that chain. That means everything that I was taught about security, about success, about survival has to be re-examined and rebuilt. That's the real work now. So if you're a parent feeling this too, then just know that you are not alone. We are all in this together, trying to figure this thing out. teaching our kids how to swim in waters that we were never allowed to test ourselves. But even in the middle of the collapse, we still have the most powerful tool of all, truth. So tell the truth, live the truth, and raise children who are not afraid of it. Because in a world full of illusion and collapse, truth is the real revolution.
Good stuff, though. We'll give them that. There were some good catches tonight too, and apparently, On Your Oath did a couple of videos.
Had previously seen a black female and a black male, both possibly wearing white shirts, walking on Maywood towards Stickney. Call not sure if that's in relation or not. It's Maywood and Stickney, 211.
121, checking your safety.
Check it. Thanks, Bancroft.
Copy.
620 will be David.
Yeah. How do they know about the ship? The pilot. Turns out he's also a snitch for DEA, customs too.
Kevin D10.
What's his name? I don't know. How do you know? I don't know, John. I'm gonna embarrass this guy.
423 is traffic.
I want to talk.
423, go ahead.
43, 193. 43, 193.
It belongs to DEA.
43. 43.
Ask permission for us to talk to him. I did.
In row in Cheltenham. John Sam William, 9741 Ohio. John Sam William, 9741 Ohio. In row in Cheltenham. John Sam William, 9741 Ohio. John Sam William, 9741 Ohio. We're going to be on 475. I'm sorry, we're going to be just at the Spewey 475 with a Ohio plate, King Paul Frank 7713. It's going to be a gold Buick. 610 on scene. Can we do a call back and have the caller come out?
As a Spewey, King Paul Frank 7713, Gold Buick. On scene, we'll do a call back.
423 dispatch. We're going to be stopped now on this Spewey. We're going to be eastbound Central just before Moffett.
Eastbound Central just before Moffett.
10. What's the area?
No.
One's bomb right back running. One's bomb right back running.
What's this one? What's this one?
4668, 4668. 4668, 4668.
Okay, 710, go ahead. Okay, 710, go ahead.
620 shows on your suspicious on Toledo.
Showing you out, 805 Toledo Avenue.
210 on callback. Caller says that the male left and she no longer needs our services.
All right. Another one down, third North Dakota arrest. We're going to check out a couple of these arrests from predator poachers tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to get a couple reads in. We're up to 5 people now on Rumble. We need 10. Yeah, we need 10. Yeah.
It's not our fault. Whose fault is it?
Way through puberty, you can do egg banking, which for someone who's assigned male at birth, and if they've already been through puberty, they could produce a semen specimen and have it frozen. If someone is assigned female at birth and they are also all the way through puberty, you can do egg banking, which entails a little bit more typically.
This young man who's with us is the recipient of the J. Albert Bean Libertarian Young Creative Thinkers Award.
Yeah, right.
Guys, we're very excited to have Nick Fuentes with us in the house. Nick, how you been?
I'm good. Yeah, great to be with you.
Excellent. Is the fucking air conditioning on for a reason? Let's actually make it louder. Let's make it louder in post.
We are Ronald McDonald. Our allegiance is to truth and justice.
N-word thinking.
You are now banned from the computer.
From a FEMA fridge full of cursed condiments. The only broadcast still operating under the 1983 Emergency Continuity Act. This is the Sam Hyde
That was a good night most of the way around.
Don't watch in the school computer lab. It's Nick Fuentes. The Sam Hyde Show. This episode is brought to you by Hale. Is that the actual brand name? The microphone cradle is by Hale? Heil. Heil what? It's just Heil. It's never just Heil. We know this. It's never just a simple Heil. Guys, welcome back to the Sam Hyde Show. Very proud to present Nick Fuentes. Fresh off his Candace Owens interview. That was fun.
Oh, yeah, I had a lot of fun.
I had to stop listening at about an hour because she was yapping so much.
Yeah, it's really more like an interrogation.
She was coming after. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what her problem is. It's another narcissistic black woman. Pretty typical.
Come on, Candace. What's going on over there, buddy? So what's going on in the world, man? What's new with you?
I mean, we got the war with Iran. We have the Epstein files.
I've heard from some pretty high up sources that this might be million-dimensional chess. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, Trump has not lost cat turd yet, so I think there still might be a chance.
Yeah.
I think this is an epic crash out. I think it's over. This is Zognald Blumpf and the final stand. I'm afraid of what's going to happen next. I think he's going to turn the cannons on us now.
You think Trump's going to go after the alt-right?
I do. I think it's over. I think it's been over.
The entire world is sexually blackmailed by Mossad. Do mainstream people know this?
I think so. The name's Epstein, so it's kind of hard to ignore.
Regular people know about Epstein.
Well, it was absolutely blatant. You know, he goes to jail for sex trafficking, dies mysteriously. The cameras were turned off. Nobody was there. I actually just discovered this last week. Bill Barr was the attorney general when he killed himself. That means he was overseeing the federal prison that Epstein was detained in. Did you know that Bill Barr's father was the principal of the school that Jeffrey Epstein worked at in the 1970s?
Oh my God.
Jeffrey Epstein was hired by Bill Barr's dad at the Dalton School in 1974. And then his son, Bill Barr, oversaw the detention facility that he died at. So it's just beyond parody. And it became a meme. You know, Epstein didn't kill himself. The meme should have been the Jews killed Epstein to keep him shut, you know, because it's like, well, who killed him then? It just does a show you get one side or the other. If you get the left, you get George Soros. If you get the right, you get Jeff Epstein in Israel. So
it's nice how that story came full circle, though. It's a generational thing. We were talking about people in the CIA, some of them wanting to push war with China. Why would people want this? Why is it like a thing that anybody would push for?
You have three real countries in the Middle East. You have Turkey, Egypt, and Iran. Everything else is basically a construct. Everything else is fake. Egypt and Turkey have been pro-Israel for 50 and 80 years each. Iran's the only major country that still opposes them in the region. So the Jews want a war with Iran because that's basically the last opponent. China, for obvious reasons.
That sounds kind of badass.
It is.
I got chills when you said they're the last opponent. Made me think I was watching some badass action movie.
So that's why they want a war with Iran. They want a war with China. Elements in the U.S. want that because they're going to be the next great competitor. They're going to be the next great power competitor. But I don't mind them, actually. I think the Chinese are all right.
I'm just thinking, would you need to go to war with somebody if they're going to be a competitor?
No, not necessarily.
Does it necessitate bombing, going to war? I'm just thinking what many great leaders have thought for thousands of years, Ryan.
When are you not thinking like many great leaders throughout the...
Indeed. Anyway,
it's a shame that it crackles when you're just doing your most comfortable movements.
Well, I have to break it in here. I don't have time to break it in when I'm not on the show.
Is that regular leather?
This is Indian goat leather for real.
Okay.
We're doing an ad read, right? Let's start this ad read right with a little copyright-free music. What's up, YouTube? Today we're promoting a great product. Thanks for this royalty-free music. All
Let's see what guests we have to appease today. They didn't fire us? Guys, I tell everybody that I'm associated. Did they pay for the premium video package? No? Okay.
No.
Run it on the B cam there. I tell everybody I'm associated with, take as much as you can of stiff lip sucks. I mean sucks. When I want to be healthy and protect my heart, I pack my lip with 300 milligrams of caffeine. That's, in my opinion, a normal amount of caffeine that everybody needs for their daily vitamins. It's simple science. Let me show you on the whiteboard. Here at Stiff Lips, do we even have any of their crap? We don't. We ran out of. Oh, let's get good audio here. Now, we've run out of Stiff Lip Sups because they're so effective, so efficacious, scientifically backed, clinically studied and proven that we use them all the time. Oh my God, that's sacrilegious. And they put God in lowercase. This is a slight morale improvement that is trademarked. I'm not even.
What's your thoughts on this? Everybody know who this is? If you don't, please let me know.
It's one of those things where even there's no way out. There's no way to make it funny or interesting. There's no way to come out on top with this ad. Stiff Lip Sups. Stiff Lip Sups. Was the military hard? Aww. Did your friend die? Oh, no. You better get some energy. When I was over in Iraq, Mosul, I used a SIG 441. That gun, people are saying now that it's got automated discharge. That's because of improper handling techniques. I use a SIG 441 all the time. Freeze! That's my friend. I almost shot my friend at the range. So I couldn't take the edge. Couldn't take it anymore. Far worse, 4th of July. Bang! Oh, is there a dog barking? Help! 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 I'm a shoot! I'm a shoot! I'm a shoot! Stiff Lip Sups is going to get you back on top. Your lady cheated on you? They all do! Welcome to the party, pal! Guys, promo code SAM for 10% off all orders at stifflipsups.com. I'll see you there, so I'm buying it.
I might put it back on later.
Just throw it on top of the shoulders.
Atop the blazer, yeah.
Tie it around the waist like Raven.
Waist.
The fuck are these? Whose are these?
Oh, nice. I bought those at a gas station. So they're the world's.
You like buying stuff at gas stations?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I always think it's fun. So we're on the road a lot. They always have knives and crazy cool shit you can just flip around and throw. I got in Arizona, an alien Area 51 driver's license, but it was like irregularly long, so it didn't fit in the card slot. So I had to make a special exception and put it where the money goes, in the wallet. So now I just have this extra card in my wallet that's like Area 51 alien. It's like I'm an alien. So the cop pulls me over and I say, "Here you go, officer. I'm a fucking alien." All right.
I posited that maybe it's a different shape because it's from outer space. It's not the standard card shape.
They use
from a different.
Yeah, it's a
Mercurian standard.
They're still with rectangles. They're still fine with rectangles, but it's different specs. Yeah, exactly.
We need 4 more.
Listen, my viewers are not as educated as your viewers. All right, we need to know what else is going on. So the U.S., we want war with Iran because they're the last opponent. It sounds badass. Okay, I'm going to give the devil his due here. We want war with China because they're a possible competitor.
Well, they just did the big, beautiful bill that just got through Congress They're cutting the corporate tax rate again, extending the corporate tax cut, and to pay for it, they're cutting Medicaid by $900 billion, which I think is like great politics. You know, taking away healthcare to pay for corporate tax cuts is a real winner.
That's funny, yeah.
Well, and it's like, this is just so classic. Every year, people vote for fewer immigrants. People vote because we hate seeing like Venezuelans peddling candy bars on the street. And every year we just get tax cuts. We get a corporate tax cut and like $1 trillion defense budget and more wars for Israel. So that's basically what was in the bill. And well, here's the best part. They allocated $150 billion for ICE and deportations and for the border. And then the same day that the bill passed, Trump got into a rally and said, we're not going to do mass deportations anymore. So,
Beautiful.
Well, what's the money for then? And then they told us the week later, the deportations are now for citizens that criticize Israel. That's the new memo from the DOJ. They're going to revoke citizenship of people that criticize Israel and then deport them to Libya and Africa.
I remember when they were deporting people for being pro-Palestine, people on, was it student visas?
Yep.
So people who were, listen, we don't want Arabs in this country, but they were in this country legally here to study, and they were being deported because they were critical of Israel. And I saw a lot of people on the right sort of cheering that, like they didn't understand why that might be a bad thing. So what, they're going to deport who now?
Citizens. They're revoking the citizenship.
How does that work? What does that mean?
So if you're a naturalized citizen, meaning you attain it after you're born in another country, you come here, get your citizenship, they say the top 5 priorities of the DOJ this year will be revoking naturalized citizenship from anybody that is a threat to Israel or criticizes Israel.
Holy shit.
That's the new move.
Do you think that Rosie O'Donnell's a test run for a straight up citizen? She was born in America.
She was.
And Trump was saying that like it's probably like the test subject. If everybody hates Rosie, so we're going to deport her. And then everybody's going to be like, yeah. And then now you've opened that door to make that possible. And then we're gone.
Did they deport Rosie?
Not yet.
He said we should look into it. He said we're going to look into it very strongly. You know, it's kind of funny because people are voting for tyranny. You know, people are voting for like mass deportations, going door to door, arresting people, going after the media. But we're just getting like Jewish tyranny. We're getting that, but like for Israel. We're like deporting people that criticize Israel, going to war for Israel, deporting people that hate Israel, shutting down Harvard because they hate Israel. And it's like, we just kind of got the wrong flavor. So it's like right idea, just directionally not pointed at the right thing here.
They got to know what they're doing though, because they're attracting all that attention to this anti-Israel hate. They've got to understand that it's going to come full circle, and people are going to be like, wait a minute, maybe not liking Israel is super justified, right? Like that's going to bite them in the butt.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just going to kill us all. You know, I'm
okay. Interesting.
Peter Thiel has like an enemies list of like 2 million people in Palantir.
Yeah.
And Palantir came in on the heels of Doge. Elon Musk brought Doge in to every department, to the IRS, the Treasury Department, education, the rest of it. And everyone that worked in Doge had also worked for Palantir. And so when Doge left, the Palantir people stayed. And what they're doing now is they're creating a master database that has your education records, health records, tax records, the Treasury Department's records, and they're going to be in one giant searchable database for this administration with a $150 billion budget for ICE that wants to take citizenship from people that criticize Israel. And that's what people voted for when they voted for Trump.
What is Palantir? Can you explain what this is a little bit?
Palantir is a CIA cutout. So in 2001, after 9/11, they created this it's basically artificial intelligence or an algorithm to interpret these vast amounts of data. The intelligence community takes all this massive amounts of data, emails, phone calls, text messages. Palantir interprets all of it into insights that are usable by law enforcement. And so in 2001, after 9/11, they took what was a CIA program and they just effectively privatized it to bypass the Constitution. You know, the Constitution protects people's privacy, but a private company doesn't have to play by the same rules.
So 2001, you're saying that there were the CIA was spying on people and collecting all this data, and then to get around public oversight, they sort of transferred this into a private company.
Right. So Palantir is a firm that creates usable insights based on vast amounts of data. It's a private entity to circumvent the Constitution. They're founded in 2001. Until 2008, they only worked for the CIA. And the CIA actually provided startup money through their venture capital arm, inQtel. So they provided all the money for it, and they created all the products. So Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Joe Lonsdale, they were at Langley, Virginia at the CIA headquarters making everything for the CIA as a so-called contractor. And then after that, they branched out into everything. So they identified the Capitol rioters on January 6th. They were identifying who wasn't vaccinated in 2021.
What were they doing with people that weren't vaccinated?
Just to identify contact tracing who had COVID and who was spreading it to everybody using Bluetooth, and then identifying then who wasn't vaccinated for the purpose of these vaccine passports. You know, in states like New York or in New York City, they wouldn't let people into restaurants if they didn't have the vaccine. So this was going to be like they wanted to identify everybody that didn't have the card.
Yeah.
Using Bluetooth, you said?
That's for identifying who has COVID.
Interesting.
Because if you got COVID and you tested positive, they would look at your phone, and your phone has Bluetooth, and they'd see all the other phones that touched it. So they can identify everybody that might have COVID. That's the contact tracing. It's basically just like what Ted Kaczynski warned about. This is the classic panopticon surveillance state. And so Palantir was founded by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel funds all the new right projects. You know, in 2022, he was the single largest individual donor in the cycle. So he put $30 million behind J.D. Vance, Blake Masters.
Why does he look greasy?
Well, he's a gay man. I think that has a lot to do with it. So,
there's a certain amount of grease that comes along with the lifestyle.
Yeah, a lot of lubricant, a lot of lubricating.
Why is it all over
friction?
his face when he's doing public appearances?
Peter Thiel has funded Sovereign House, Passage Press, Bronze Age Pervert, Claremont Institute. And then, of course, our vice president, J.D. Vance, was his protege for his entire career. So Vance is Peter Thiel's guy on the inside.
Where does Thiel come from? Was he around in 2001?
He was.
And
he
what was
came
he
from PayPal.
What was he doing?
So he had just around that time created PayPal with Elon Musk.
At that point, when they're doing PayPal, is this something that's linked to intelligence yet, or is he sort of solo?
Most likely, yes, because of the nature of what PayPal is, which is a peer-to-peer payment system. So it's deeply in touch with the financial industry and state regulations. The real connection to intelligence is that he comes from Stanford University. That was his origin story. He founded the Stanford Review at Stanford University with money from Irving Kristol.
What's that, like the school paper?
Yes.
Who's Irving Kristol?
Irving Kristol's the godfather of neoconservatism. So he invented the neocons. He's a Jew, former communist who became a conservative after the Soviet Union backed Israel's enemies.
Peter Thiel, I almost said Peter Steele. He should change his name. He started the school newspaper with money from the godfather of neoconservatism?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
So he takes money from Irving Kristol to start this paper. And you have to understand that, like, where all these conservatives come from is they're effectively groomed by the CIA out of college. Every major conservative thinker, influencer, basically from the 1950s on, was groomed by what was called the Congress for Cultural Freedom, which is a project of the CIA.
This is the KKK.
No, I know we're talking about serious stuff, so I tried to hold it in. So this was a while ago this happened, but you said the godfather of neoconservatism. And all I could think was like, the godfather, he's going, so you're telling me you don't support Israel? That's all I could think of, and my brain just like, shut up, don't say that.
No, please interject with humor. You're saying that every major conservative figure comes from this Congress of what?
Congress for Cultural Freedom.
Congress for Cultural Freedom.
So they're all, in a word, they're all being groomed. All of these like conservative intellectuals that are writing these books, people like William F. Buckley, and many of the anti-communists, are all being groomed out of college by the CIA to be conservative counterweight to left-wing communism in America, because the CIA is deeply worried about communism spreading in the United States and elsewhere. So Peter Thiel tracks with this pattern where Irving Kristol's one of them.
So back in the 60s or 70s or whatever, they would have been doing this to combat communism.
Right.
And then at some point something goes wrong.
I wouldn't say it went wrong. It's more like the CIA was always in bed with Israeli intelligence. So under the aegis of fighting communism, what they're really doing is combating anti-Semitism at the exact same time. So these people are being groomed by the CIA, which happens to be an institution that's totally infiltrated by Israel.
When was the CIA infiltrated by Israel?
From the very start, from its very inception. And the reason being is because the CIA was formed out of wartime intelligence during World War II. Obviously, we needed intelligence about the Axis, the Nazis, the Italians. And so when the Allies invaded Italy, what was coming through Italy were a lot of Jewish refugees fleeing the Holocaust, fleeing the persecution by the Germans. And so how did the Allies get intelligence about the Germans? We talked to the Jews that were fleeing Germany. And so our entire intelligence network from Germany, and even from Russia, for that matter, from Poland, all these Jews that were fleeing these countries came from Jewish refugees, essentially. So when the CIA was founded, it was basically made up. All the human sources were Jewish refugees leaving Italy and then going to Israel. And then the next big step is that we were, of course, fighting the Soviet Union. When the Cold War starts in the 1950s, we have to know everything about the Soviet Union, but we know nothing because an iron curtain has descended. We have no sources that are on the inside. We have no idea what's going on. But there are some people leaving the Soviet Union, and it's Jews that are leaving the Soviet Union to go to Israel. So we say, how do we know the secrets about the Soviet Union? Let's interview the Soviet Jews that flee to Israel. In order to get access to those people, we have to make a deal with Israel. And we effectively say, well, we will help your fledgling state if you give us information about the Soviet Union. And so basically a deal was made. This is how they got their nuclear program. This is what was revealed in the JFK files earlier in the year. That James Angleton, who was running the Israel desk in the 50s and 60s and 70s, he, under the table, was providing Israel with nuclear secrets to get access to their Soviet emigres so we could learn more about the Soviet Union.
Now, you said James Angleton?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if you showed that guy the future? Hey, James, I want to show you something real quick. It's a glimpse into the future. This is what you did? That's really funny. Okay, so CIA formation. They're infiltrated from the very beginning because they wanted access to Russian emigres. The Congress for Confederate
Cultural Freedom.
Cultural Freedom. Okay, so tell me about this, the CCF, we'll call it, because I forgot what it was.
So the CIA starts to basically support a lot of conservative radio publications, intellectuals, because these guys are all making the case that the Soviet Union is evil.
It sounds like PragerU.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Yeah, it is PragerU. It's like proto-PragerU. And so basically all of the famous anti-communist conservatives of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, maybe the most prominent being William F. Buckley, they were being funded under the table by the CIA. Their papers, radio, TV, their scholarships, they were all funded through what were called cutouts, NGOs, various projects, one of them being the Congress for Cultural Freedom. And that's because the CIA wanted to create in Europe and in the United States this intellectual case against communism. Then you fast forward to the 80s, and Irving Kristol, the godfather of neoconservatism, he's one of these guys, by the way, who's getting money from the CIA. He starts up a group with a number of other Jews, and they start seeding money for student newspapers at all the top schools.
Damn.
Stanford, Dartmouth, UChicago. And some of the most famous conservatives today got that money, and that is how they got their start. They started these student newspapers. They start writing for them, and then they climb up the ladder doing commentary, doing broadcasting, and now these are like the biggest hosts of Fox News. Like one of the ones, for example, was Dinesh D'Souza.
just to interrupt you here. Usually when someone interrupts it like just to something good, I'm like, just to interrupt you. This does sound like a good idea.
Around.
Yeah.
Like I kind of want to just go
Dealing
start
with the
some
dogs.
student
It's like
newspapers.
spy
I don't know.
fiction. It's cool.
I
Kind
think
of.
it might be able to monetize this at some point. We should start student newspapers. How much does it even cost? Also, they're good at getting like a bang for their buck, with like local. Like they realized you need like Soros, you fund like the local guys. You just get more. Like what? Figure speaker ladder with the student newspaper track. Like at what point are they compromised in the sense that they're putting subsuming their values and their journalistic integrity to what money? Is that what it is?
They're convinced that working for the CIA or intelligence is patriotic. I think that they're convinced that they're with the so-called good guys, the good faction inside intelligence that is sort of ideologically aligned with us. To tell you the truth, a lot of them are marginal types from the beginning. Somebody like Peter Thiel.
What do you mean marginal?
So he's a gay man.
Yeah.
Gay people are typically marginal, or a lot of them are Jewish. Jewish people are marginal also.
When you say marginal, you mean not like core person type? They're like on the fringes?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they're like an outsider. They're more willing to accept like weird kind of ideas. Is that what you mean?
Well, weird ideas, and they might be able to be compromised in some ways. Specifically, like gay people, there's a huge vulnerability. I mean, like there's a big reason Jeffrey Epstein trafficked in pedophilia. There's a big reason why a lot of these public figures, I don't think it's a coincidence, get outed for pedophilia.
So when you say marginal, you mean there's something about them that's exploitable.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it could be an ethnic affinity. It could be a sexual eccentricity, which could be used for blackmail purposes. There's a lot of different vectors, I think, but it's almost never just like normal people.
It's never just a guy that likes peanut M&Ms. You know what I mean?
It's an M&M minis guy.
Needs the tube. It's these fucking M&M minis guys.
Needs the tube of specific colors. Like, you got the yellow tube, and he won't buy them unless it's the yellow tube.
Strangely fits. Anyway, sorry, continue.
So I don't know the psychological profile necessarily, but needless to say, they start getting this buy-in. They receive the money,
It's a Harley
they
jet.
receive the
I
career
love
advancement,
Fuentes'
doors
jet.
open up
Sorry.
for that person. Maybe somewhere along the way they understand what's happening, but they rationalize it. I've heard many different stories about how it works, but it always starts at the college level, which sort of makes sense. Because if you think about Harvard, Stanford, Yale, they are selecting for the highest IQ people, and the government wants the highest IQ people because intelligence, it's sort of in the name also. These intelligence networks, they need to be the most technically sophisticated, operationally sophisticated. So they go, where are the smart people? They're at the elite universities. And so, you might think it's sort of like, when you look at Turning Point USA or, college Republicans, you might think that's kind of nothing. It's peanuts. It's dorky. It's silly. But these 18-year-old people, these 18-year-old, 19-year-old young guys who are ideologically conservative, these are the future leaders. These are the 130, 150 IQ guys. They're going to be fighting the Chinese and fighting the Iranians and fighting Russian intelligence. So that's where they go for them. And it's also when they're impressionable. It's also when they're malleable. So I never understood the significance of education until I thought of these institutions as elite-making institutions. Harvard graduates the elites of the world. Yale graduates the elites of the world. So the intelligence networks want to get their pincers in those people when they're young. And then, so a guy like Irving Kristol puts together this money with these other guys from the CIA, and they seed the money for conservative student newspapers. And, these 19-year-old kids, they think it's funny. A guy like Stephen Miller, that's how he got his start. he was writing letters to David Horowitz, who's a talk radio host, and he was a student newspaper guy doing polemical stuff, shitting on Mexicans and black people and Palestinians and the rest of it.
I was just thinking about David Portnoy. But sorry, go ahead.
Pizza reviews they should get into.
And so that's how they get groomed. And then
Don't mess with
they
Dave.
go from a student newspaper to a local newspaper to Fox News, and then they're a household name. Then they're the big Fox News name.
Was your point of contact, like you're sort of like the vampire that changes you? Was that Cassie Dillon?
Yes.
That's literally she converted to Judaism after.
I looked her up, by the way. She's ugly.
Is she ugly?
Yes.
She's not hot.
You could pull up a picture.
Which made me upset.
Sure.
Who said the thing about the price of a man's soul being so low? It's like, it's not that everybody has a price, it's that most people's price is so low.
Ouch. Yeah.
It's also the case that the bitches they hook these guys up with are butt ugly.
That's the price.
Yeah, that's the prize. That's what they get, but they're not hot.
Very sad.
Is she genetically Jewish?
No, she converted.
Why is her face all fucked up then? Converted from what? Ugly bitch? If a beat bitch came to me and texted me saying you got to change your opinions, I'd say, bitch, get surgery. Now, Cassie Dillon, she might have great... Is that her appeal? I don't know how this stuff works. Is it just that the so good it offsets the ugliness? Anyway, I don't know. Listen, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers here. I just know this bitch is beat.
This is X and Rumble.
She's good looking.
Yeah. She was cuter when she was younger.
Bitch.
Yeah, look at her there.
Some genetic.
She looks shrill and she looks like she's ready to terrorize a man.
Wrong star on the sweatshirt there.
When you were coming up, you had hot opinions and people were looking at you and saying, this kid's hot. And you get paired up with this chick to sort of show you the ropes and kind of introduce you to the world of whatever the fuck leads to being on Fox News, whatever. And you start questioning basically Jewish stuff, and she starts texting you stuff. You can't talk about this. We're gonna excise you from the friend group. These types of like texts to let you know that you're on dangerous ground.
Yeah, I think she tried to fuck me too. I think it was like a honeypot situation. The first thing she asked me when I met her is if I would ever fly to Israel. That was her. It could not be less subtle.
Yeah, fly to Israel to fuck. That's the one key weakness. They got to get better looking bitches.
Better
over
looking
here.
ingredients.
Better pizza. Papa John's.
She really fumbled the ball hard.
Oh, yeah.
She came out the gates, you want to go to Israel, came on real strong, and then she has to report back to whoever and be like, I think I accidentally created Nick Fuentes. Oops.
She was so ugly, she created Nick Fuentes.
Was she the only one? Did they send more? Did they? Let's try this one.
I think there were more after, but it was mainly she was the main one, and yeah, I mean honestly, it was actually
Nick,
that
I
simple.
think,
She
is
just
gay.
wasn't that hot.
It's like Charlie's Angels. If they don't get you with that one, they send the black one, then they send the Chinese one. They send a bunch of different flavors to see if they can get you.
They sent Charlie in?
Well, that's Epstein is the guy.
Right.
And then the last one is they get you on the plane with the kids.
And then they become the agents. Peter Thiel, for example, he starts the Stanford Review at Stanford. And if you look, it's crazy. Stanford Review is like a who's who of defense contractors, which you wouldn't think. It's supposed to be like a polemical, conservative college newspaper, but it's a who's who of drone developers, like all these people that are making weapons for the Department of Defense, like Joe Lonsdale, who then went on to work with Peter Thiel. And so Peter Thiel, he writes this book about the diversity myth in 1995. He writes a number of other publications, and then he goes on to work for the CIA full-time doing Palantir. And then he goes into a full-time intelligence defense contractor position. And now they're collecting all the data on people that criticize Israel for the government.
That Alex Karp guy, he said that his greatest fear is that the alt-right, his greatest fear is the alt-right. That's not good.
Yeah, and specifically, he said his greatest fear is that Christian nationalists will take power and then throw him out of a window, specifically for being Jewish.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's our guy.
What do you think about these Indians?
Not a fan. I was going to go with it as Usha Vance, J.D. Vance's wife, is Indian. You have like half of Twitter like hates Indians, and then they're also extremely pro-Vance, and his kids are just like Indians in India. His first son's name is Vivek, and he went to college with Vivek.
You can't write this shit.
No, it's like the Bill Barr, the Epstein thing, this shit. The segue was like Teal to Vance to Usha and Vivek.
That sounds like one of the, what's the Upanishads? It sounds like something out of one of those ancient books.
It does have a sort of,
Man,
ancient
that
ring to it.
Is frightening to me. Especially that ancient Indian stuff. That's
Because modern Indian's frightening as is. You go back into the murky depths of time.
It only gets murkier.
Yeah.
From
the
here.
anglerfish of Indian existence down there somewhere.
It doesn't get more clear. The water's getting muddier the deeper you go on that one. Do you play games, Nick?
I know Nick Fuentes. I know Sam
I'm
Hyde.
basic. I just play like Fortnite, and I play map games. I play Civ 5, Call of War.
Civ 5, that's cool. I love Civilization. What society do you pick?
Oh, Rome. Rome every time.
You go with Rome every time? I go with the Uzbeks. Now, I usually look to see who has the biggest advantage and then go with that. But I think, you know what Civilization is?
Nope.
It's this game where you pick your civilization from all the civilizations that have ever existed, and you start a little like sim nation, it's a sim game.
Okay.
But the advantage is like if you pick an African, it's like you get higher birth rate. I don't think I don't think they have anything like that in there. I'm sure they're smart enough to not do that, but each civilization has an advantage. I wonder if there are any of them that are funny, like Africans.
Yeah, India has a funny one. It's like the population can be really big and unhappiness is really low.
Oh yeah,
they dwell with like billions of people.
Hell
and shit.
yeah.
It's like hard mode.
They can
They don't
tolerate
care.
anything. That's amazing.
Yeah.
People would say that's weird that there's no Jewish option, but you as the player are because you're controlling everything.
Is there an Israeli civilization?
There isn't, no.
That would make me sick if I fired up a civilization.
If you get far enough as a Brit, you then create the state of Israel. Yeah, I'd say you win the game.
It's one of the world wonders is creating Israel.
My big thing is I'm just soaking in the failure of this administration. Every successive failure of Trump is just like, that has been my source of enjoyment for the past 5 months.
What are the failures?
The discussion about amnesty for illegal farmers.
What's his stance here on amnesty?
So, last year they're promising mass deportations. That was the big tagline.
We didn't get that, right?
No, we're not getting it. They stopped publishing the figures.
Right.
They have not published one number for 6 months, which never happens. And so that was the big promise. And but of course, the entire year last year, he had his fingers crossed behind his back. Whenever they pressed him, he would say, well, we're going to get the violent criminals out first. We'll worry about everybody else later. And so fast forward to now, they arrested 70,000 people, which is nothing in 5 months. And they're already saying, well, now we're going to strategically do mass deportations by not deporting anybody that works on a farm, in a restaurant, in a construction site, in a hotel, which is like all the migrant labor. They're basically throwing in the towel 5 months in.
They're just leaving the listless ones that have nothing better to do than crime and rapes.
Yeah.
At least the other ones have they're semi-integrated. That seems like the worst idea.
It's a total joke. So people like you and me, we were part of this big wave in 2016, which Trump obviously led. He was the nucleus of it and the center of it. And I think that the energy around him started dying off realistically almost immediately after he won the election the first time. I think he's no longer funny. He got off Twitter. He's not even based anymore. I think about the things that he says. There's just not one. He's pro-Jewish. He's pro-diversity, pro-black, all these different things. And so last year, you had all these people that were really not on our side back then. People like Jack Posobiec and Mike Cernovich and a lot of these other guys trying to meme him as like he's still spiritually what he was. the first time. And to me, I just thought that was just a complete and total betrayal. It's like people like myself found ourselves on the outside looking in, and all those people back then who were alt-right or establishment are now the ultimate insiders in Trump world. No deportations. He bombed Iran, which at one time that was almost like synonymous with
starting World War III.
Well, and what the Jews always wanted. Like bombing Iran was like a punchline. If you wanted to say somebody was so pro-Israel, it's ridiculous, you would say they're going to start a war with Iran. They're going to bomb Iran.
Yeah.
And then he did it.
What did he bomb?
He bombed their most fortified nuclear facility where they enrich uranium. Of course, he promised no new wars. And a big reason I didn't vote for him is because I said he's going to bomb Iran. The Israelis have been pushing for years, and they're finally going to achieve it with him. You know, he gets into office and everybody says there's going to be no new wars. We're going to stay out of it. And then, of course, Israel starts the war with Iran. They bomb Iran. They do these drone strikes. They do air strikes. And all the pro-Trump people said, well, we should stay out of it. Of course, we're deeply involved. We start shooting Iran's missiles out of the sky. We start moving airplanes and aircraft carriers into the region. Then they said, well, we shouldn't get involved offensively. Then everybody starts saying, well, we should bomb Iran's nuclear program. Then they said, well, we could bomb the nuclear program, but we shouldn't do regime change. We shouldn't put boots on the ground. Then we bombed